Do you know the difference between credible and correct? If you're not 100% sure, stick around because I'm going to talk about what the difference is between those different terms. If you don't know me, I'm Professor Capko, and we're going to talk about the differences between credible and correct. But first, I want to say I believe something wonderful is about to happen for you. And now, back to the video. Two terms that are thrown around quite a bit, especially nowadays, are credible and correct. Do they mean the same thing? They can in some ways, but not exactly. Let's talk about the differences. What does credible mean? Essentially, credible means that you are trustworthy, reliable, valid, and dependable. So if a source is credible, they are a trustworthy source. They are something that you could rely upon to get better answers than if it's not credible. A non-credible source generally would not be reliable for good answers. Does that mean that credible sources are always correct? No. What does correct mean? Well, correct means, of course, accurate, right, verifiable, or free from error. So are credible sources always correct? Of course not. Oftentimes, more than you would expect, a credible source might be incorrect. And by the converse, you might have an incredible source, a source that is not credible, that might be correct. So, and it might be correct from time to time. So let's take a look. I made a little matrix here of them. We've got credible on this side, and we've got correct across here. So if you've got a credible source that's correct, you're going to find yourself here. However, you might have a credible source that is incorrect, and that does happen. Maybe it's a scientific source, and they maybe made an error in their experiment, and they find out that they can't repeat it. And then that might be a credible source, but yet incorrect. Then you could also have a source that's not credible, that we might expect it to be not correct, and oftentimes they're not. Maybe the internet, maybe it's social media. You might find that it's not correct and it's not credible. But you might have a source that is generally not credible, not something you would ordinarily trust, and it might be correct. So you've got a whole range of possibilities here. And remember, just because something is credible does not mean it's correct. Those don't mean the same thing. You can absolutely have a source that is credible and not correct. Let's give you an example of something that's maybe not credible. Maybe I tell you that I can predict whether a coin flip will be heads or tails. Of course, that's random as far as we know, and I should not be able to predict it. But if I tell you it's going to be, trust me, it's going to be heads. Am I a credible source? No, it's random. I'm guessing. You flip the coin, and guess what? I get lucky. It comes up heads. Does that make me a credible source? No, but I am still correct. Now, the other thing to keep an eye out for is sometimes you have sources that you are told are correct, or you're told are credible. But maybe they're masquerading as being credible, and they're really not. There are some that would say there's news sources out there, and I'm not going to get political and tell you which ones, but everyone has their opinion as to which ones may be more correct than others, or which are more credible than others. One side's going to feel that their side is credible. The other side's going to find and feel that their side's credible. But just because it's coming from a news source does not make it correct. So keep that in mind. Always be critically thinking, make good judgment calls, and keep track of which sources that you're using are correct more than not. Nobody can be correct all the time. And sometimes there's a good faith reason why something is incorrect. But keep an eye out. Sometimes you might have a source that's masquerading as being credible. They have all the markings of being credible, all the earmarks, but they're lying to you. And they are truly trying to manipulate you. Those are the worst kind. Keep an eye out for those because they may be misleading you in many ways. So that's all I have for you today in this video. If you enjoyed this content, I ask that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video. Now go make it an awesome day. Thank you.